So today is Erin's birthday, and being the responsible adult that I am, I decided to get her this. And if you believe that, the world is flat. So no, I didn't really buy her a welder for her birthday. I didn't even buy me a welder for her birthday. This is actually my new work welder that where I work has provided for me, and they said, yeah, sure, go ahead, take it home and do a review on it. So thank you, work. And let's just get it out of the box. I was always an interesting kid on Christmas morning. Hiya! So what do you get for your money? Get a regulator, a reasonable length, gas line, a 3-meter stinger. I just measured that. It's actually more like 2.8, so it's not quite 3, but maybe they're including the handle as well. 4-meter lead. This is the T2 style torch. Love it or hate it, this is what UNIMIG is going with these days. I appreciate it. It actually has a really decent duty cycle for the size of it. So it feels and is light as a 17, but the duty cycle is more like a 26 air-cooled. So that's actually pretty cool. The downside is if you have a lot of consumables like I do for a standard 17 style torch or whatever, collets and whatnot, none of that's usable. So there's pluses and minuses. In saying that though, these torches seem to go through a lot less consumables. They last a lot longer. They're quite sturdy, and they come in this beautiful reusable bag, which I will put my lunch in before I go to work. And just like that, we're ready to weld. I'm kidding. So this is the starter kit that came with this welder as an optional extra. We bought this through Hare & Forbes, by the way. Comes with some gas, some cups, stubby gas, back cap, that's nice. A few extra consumables, the gas lenses, which I'm really excited about, with the collets, and a nice selection of 2.4mm tungstens. The red ones are thoriated. The red ones are thoriated, and they are good for stainless steel, mild steel, titanium, any welding to be done on DC. And the white ones are zirconated, and they are good for aluminium. They also threw in a TIG torch holder. Don't underestimate the value of this. If your TIG torch doesn't fall on the ground, it's not going to break. So this is a very practical and very handy accessory to have, and it also came with this kit along with 2 gloves. Where am I going with this? Basically, we have a lot more 10 amp outlet plugs at work than we do 15 amp, and that's a big reason why I picked this welder. The boss sat me down, pulled up the Hare & Forbes website and said, which one do you want? And I'd heard a lot of good things about this welder, so I said that one, for the main reason being it's light and it has a 10 amp plug. So that's actually pretty decent. For a machine that can weld, go up to 180 amps to be on a 10 amp plug, I don't know what wizardry they're doing inside to be able to do that, but obviously they're doing it, and and I'm pleased they are, because that is very convenient now, and it doesn't put me in a situation where I'm having to work around that, because if you modify the plug on these machines, you void your warranty, and that was on the cable on the first one, so I haven't done that, and thankfully I have 15 amp outlets in my sheds at home and at work. But when you're out on the factory floor, suspended from the ceiling via your nasal hairs, hanging upside down underwater, holding your breath whilst doing TIG welding, it's usually not within reach of a 15 amp plug. So this is really nice. Let's turn it on. Wow, okay. Oh baby, oh, I'm excited. Okay, that's really good. That's what you want to see. The lower that number goes, the nicer. Okay, we've got that reset function. So if you don't press anything, we go back to the start, which is also good. It's basically the same so far as the razor. Okay, so that's a bit excessive. Let's go 1.2. 50. Now, the lower the number on your pulse percentage, basically, the shorter time it is going to spend on the peak amp. 33 is a pretty good all-rounder, but if you're doing, let's say if we're doing some 1.5mm steno, I'm finding 25 is actually giving me some really nice results. Just knock that corner off so that the gas inside the air can expand and we don't get any issues when we finish welding it out. Never want to weld a sealed container. It's not going to blow up on you. Well, it might blow up on you. I'll cover my butt for saying that, but what will happen is that the expanding air will blow your weld out as it comes towards the end when you've sealed it up, if you've got it too hot. Pop. Okay, so that was my setting for tacking. Just making sure you're... all the way down, minimum as it'll go. 0.9. Keep that on 25. And that's all I'm going to change. I swapped down to a 1.6mm tungsten from the 2.4 because after all, you wouldn't water your mother's daisies with a fire hose, now would you? The thinner the material you're welding, you're going to get a much nicer result if you go down a size in tungsten. That's just how it works. But let's actually put some filler wire in this one now. As I'm welding, I am pausing for the peak current and only moving on the base. And I am trying to move forward the same amount each time to keep everything looking consistent. And I just screwed up at the end there. There we go. An outside corner weld is probably one of the more challenging welds to get decent gas coverage on. As opposed to an internal fillet that's just, it's so much easier to get really nice gas coverage to get a good shiny weld. I did this one with the standard collet, so nothing special with the gas, and with the 2.4mm tungsten, which is just a little bit large for 1.5 sorry, stainless steel. And as you can see, it's not totally cooked, but it's getting there. The only bit that's nice and shiny is the end where I paused and let the post gas do its thing. And that was with filler wire. Meh. It's nothing to write home about. The penetration wasn't terrible, and you know, no big no big cauliflowers or burnt cauliflowers or sugaring going on there. But this is with the 1.6mm tungsten and with the gas lens, this guy. And the difference is quite apparent. Nice colour, very little, it's very hard to get a silver weld on an outside corner joint unless you're using like a gas cup that big, but it's really nice. This was all done with filler, and I'm really satisfied with those results. This is a great little welder, and this is sort of why Pulse is such a useful tool. The cleanup on this now is just so simple. Okay, let's do a spot of aluminium welding. Just get the correct size collet. That's 1.6. There we go. Ooh. So after the end of all that, for 3mm aluminium, let me just measure that. So that was some 3mm checker plate, so it's actually more like 2.5mm, but including the checker it's 3mm anyway. For the pulse settings I ended up going with, which I found worked the best for me and would be a good starting point for anyone out there wanting to mess around with pulse and alley, an AC pulse. 124 peak, base amp was 29, hertz was 80. I found that just gave me a little bit more control. -2, don't ever adjust that from -2. You want -2 is the 70-30 sweet spot that you would set on other machines as far as that AC balance is concerned. So that's 0.7 pulses a second, which is fairly slow. 42 on the percentage. 0.9 downslope. That could do with a little bit more if you're getting fish eyes or crater cracks. Finish amps is 0.8 and 3.8 post gas was heaps. So I don't weld a lot of aluminium. I used to. I'm a little bit out of practice, but this is a great opportunity to sort of muck about and sort of get my hand back in. But overall, I'm fairly pleased with how this machine, there was no problems with the machine if it was all me, and just sort of working out the sweet spot. So I do stainless steel every day of the week, and so for me, I intuitively know where to go as far as the amperage is concerned to get the result that I need. Aluminium, not so, but this is why we practice. So thank you for watching, guys. It's been fun unboxing this and putting it through its paces. I haven't used it as a stick welder. That's sort of something that I might do in a later video, but for now I've got to pack this up and take it to work, where I shall use it every day of the week, just about.
The following clip was shot from my phone at work, and it's really noisy, just giving you the heads up.
So I'm at work and putting the new welder to good use. I really like it. So yeah, this is the rig. I'll be dragging this around the workshop. It's got everything one needs for a modern welder. Fire extinguisher and a blanket. This is important. This is going to stop me from bashing that lead off. ready for work.